Hey, good morning friends, this is Abhishek from TechVirus, and in this video I'll be showing you how you can install Macintosh and Windows on one single system. This video is a bit lengthy, but trust me guys, if you follow each and every step you will be able to make your system dual boot and there will be no errors whenever you boot your system. So first of all, you need three things: two pen drives more than 4 GB. I have taken 8 GB and 16 GB. So these two pen drives will be used to install your Windows and Macintosh operating system. And then third thing is the Mac device. You can have MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, iMacs, or any other Mac device. Let me tell you guys that you just need these Mac devices only to copy the Macintosh operating system in your pen drive. And if you have Macintosh operating system in your pen drive, then you don't need these Mac devices. In this video I'll be using this MacBook Air, from where I'll be copying the Macintosh operating system, and then I'll proceed with the installation. Okay, so in this video I'll be using my desktop, and you can see the configuration of my desktop on the screen. It's i7 processor, it's having Nvidia GTX 970 graphics card, it's Asus Z97 Pro Wi-Fi motherboard, and I have 1 TB of Black Edition hard drive. Alright, now sit back, relax, and watch the entire video carefully. First step would be to download and install the Macintosh operating system on this pen drive. So how to download the Macintosh operating system? You just need to go to the App Store. Let me click on App Store icon, and then I need to search for OS X Yosemite. This is the latest operating system from Apple, and then you just need to click on download, and once it is downloaded it will come into purchase tab. Let me tell you that the size of this operating system is approximately 5 GB, so this will take some time to download. You can also verify the download of this operating system by going into Launchpad. There will be one icon, it shows like it's downloaded and ready to install. Alright, now we have downloaded the operating system on this MacBook Air. The next step is to write that operating system to the pen drive. So how do you do that? Plug in the pen drive and go to the Spotlight search and type in disk utility. This will open the disk utility window, and on the left hand side just select your pen drive. In this case mine is 16 GB. I'll just select that. Click on partition, then select one partition and type in any name for the pen drive. I will write as Mac, and then I'll select Mac OS Extended. You need to select this particular format, leave the size as it is, and then click on apply. Click on partition. This will format your pen drive in Mac format, that's Mac OS Extended journaled. This will take few seconds, and once it is done you can see on the left hand side the pen drive name will change to Mac. Just close this window, and then you need to download one software that's called UniBeast. This UniBeast software will help you to write the Mac OS what you have just downloaded, and this is a free software. You don't have to pay anything for this. Just go to Google and search for UniBeast and select the first link, that's unibeast.com, and there will be a download link. Just click on this. This is a very small software, it will be downloaded in seconds, and once this is downloaded you will see this kind of file. Just double click on UniBeast, click on continue, then I have to agree, and okay, I need to select the pen drive. Okay, I'll select the pen drive, then I'll click continue. Ideally Yosemite should be highlighted here because I have deleted my operating system which I have downloaded. I have already copied everything on my pen drive, so it's not highlighted. For your case just select the Yosemite and click on continue. This will start writing the operating system into your pen drive. And remember friends, like writing the operating system into pen drive will take lots of time, approximately 30 to 40 minutes, so be patient. It will download few files from internet, it will write everything on your pen drive, so be patient. Once it writes everything into your pen drive, next step is to download the MultiBeast. I have provided the link on the screen. You can see this is the link for the MultiBeast. Just go there and download MultiBeast. It's a free tool. This tool contains the driver as well as bootloader for your Hackintosh. You just need to double click the multibeast.zip file and it will extract into one folder, and you see all these things will be there inside the MultiBeast folder. You just need to copy this MultiBeast folder into the pen drive you have just made for the Macintosh. So this is the pen drive where I have installed Yosemite operating system as well as MultiBeast software. So let me plug in this pen drive and show you how your final first pen drive looks. Here you will see one install OS X Yosemite icon, and you will see multi-beast Yosemite edition. So these two things should be there in your pen drive, and you're ready to go for the next step of the installation. That's installing Windows operating system on the second pen drive. Again, let me tell you one more thing, guys. If you have pen drive already created for installing Windows, then you don't need to go for this step. You can skip this and go directly into the third step. Okay, if you want to create the installation USB drive for Windows, just plug in the USB drive, the second USB drive, and then go to My Computer, right click on the pen drive and format in FAT32 partition style. I've already formatted this pen drive in FAT32 partition, and I'll just rename this as Win. You can give any name. I have used WIN. And then I have the ISO image for my Windows 8.1. So you can see this is the ISO image. I'll extract this ISO image using WinRAR, and I'll extract it to this pen drive. I'll select the destination for the extracted file. I'll select WIN, the second pen drive, and I'll click OK. So this will start extracting all the files one by one from your ISO image to pen drive. This is a very simple step. You don't have to do any other thing. It will simply write all the files in the pen drive, and your pen drive is ready to boot as Windows installation disk. Okay friends, so just to verify once more, you need to go to My Computer and just double click on your pen drive and check if all the files were extracted into this pen drive or not. As you can see that all the files were extracted. So I'll just close this particular window, and then I have to shut down my system. Click power and shut down. After this step, I need to do some changes to the BIOS. So watch carefully what BIOS changes you need to make. Alright friends, now just reboot your system, remove the pen drive. Don't have to put anything in the USB slot. Just press Del or F2 depending upon your motherboard to get into the UEFI mode or the BIOS settings mode. So here you can see I have UEFI BIOS utility from Asus. I need to change some of the BIOS settings so that it recognizes the Macintosh operating system. I'll go to advanced, and then I'll go to boot. Inside boot I need to check for SATA support. In this it should be all devices, and USB support should be partial initialization, and then go to advanced, and in advanced go to PCH storage, and in this check your SATA mode selection. It should be AHCI. It should not be IDE. Okay, so just select AHCI. I think by default it's AHCI in Asus motherboards. And then next step is go to boot again and go down. You need to check for CMS compatibility and check for the boot device control. It should be UEFI mode and legacy OP-ROM. Should not be only legacy, because legacy, if you put the legacy, it will not detect your hard drive when Mac is getting installed. That's all. You don't have to do any other thing. Just need to exit the mode, save and exit, and click on OK. This will save the BIOS settings. So once you're done with this, just take your first pen drive where you have written your Yosemite operating system or Macintosh operating system. Just plug in the USB drive and hit Del or F2 to get into the BIOS mode again, and then you need to select on boot menu and then select your pen drive. So it should boot from your pen drive. Okay, so now the system will reboot with Chimera Boot Loader, and you will see these options. The first left hand side, if you see, that's USB. It is the name of my pen drive where my Macintosh operating system is written. I'll select USB, and then we have multiple options in this Chimera Boot Loader. When you press up arrow key or down arrow key, it will show you these options. These are boot, boot verbose, boot ignore caches, boot single user. So you don't have to use any of them. Just type one command, which I'll tell you now. These are the boot arguments. This will be passed into the booting sequence when the system is getting booted, and this will ignore few of the technical things. So in this case you need to type in -v -no -zp space nv underscore disable equal to 1. Then hit enter. So this command you need to type in. This will ignore few of the things, and this will disable your Nvidia graphics card because there are no drivers for the Nvidia card, and if you do not use this particular command, this will give you error while loading the Macintosh operating system. Alright, so I'll skip the video and I'll take you directly into the Macintosh setup mode. Here you can see it's getting loaded, and this should not take much time. To tell you, like that loading up and everything initially took 15 minutes for me. It may take some more time for you or less time depending upon your system. Select your language, click next, and then go to utilities, and you need to select disk utility, and here you need to do the partition of your hard drive. So on left hand side I can see my earlier partition. I need to format everything and do the partition again. So how do I do? Just select the hard drive, that's 1 TB WDC, and then on the right hand side you need to go to partition, click on partition, and then I have to make two partition here, one for Mac operating system and second for Windows operating system. Select the first one and go to options, and here you need to make sure that you are selecting GUID partition table. This is very important. Select OK and go to the second partition as well and make sure that its GUID is selected. OK, click OK and go to the first partition and type in the name. I'll type Mac. You can type any name, and then make sure that partition is Mac OS extended, and then you need to give the size for your partition. I'll give 200 GB, that's more than enough. And then for the second partition I'll type in Windows or Win, anything. Okay, and make sure that format should be MS-DOS, sorry. And then the size, okay, I'll leave it 800 GB, no problem, and then I'll click on apply. So this will start formatting my old partition, and then it will delete those partition, and then it will create the new Mac and Win partition. So this will take not much time, just 10-15 seconds, and it will be done. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see we have now only two partition, Mac and Win, under my 1 TB Western Digital hard drive. Okay, now I just need to close this utility, and then I need to click on continue. Then click on continue, agree, and then you can see I have two drives. Select Mac and click continue, and this will start installing the Macintosh operating system, that's Yosemite, on your desktop. This will take 15 to 20 minutes. I'll pause the video and come back again. Now you can see that installation is completed and the system is getting rebooted. I'll leave the pen drive as it is. Don't have to remove the pen drive. You again have to press Del or F2, and you need to boot from the pen drive because we have not yet installed the bootloader, so it will not automatically take and boot from the hard drive. You have to go to pen drive and then use the Chimera Boot Loader installed on the pen drive. Now you don't have to go to the first one, you need to go to the second, that's Mac, which is installed just now, and type in these commands. These are the same commands what we typed earlier. That's -v, -no, -zp, space nv_disable equal to 1. Then you need to hit enter and make sure that you have selected Mac, not USB. Okay, so this will again start loading. This is the first boot, so this will take more time than the subsequent boot. I'll pause the video and I'll come back once the boot is completed. Okay, so Yosemite is about to boot for the first time. So this took me around 10 minutes. Okay, so now you have to do this setup for the first time. You need to select your country. I'll select my country name, that's India. I'll go down. Oops, okay, I need to go down. and then click continue, and then I'll continue. Here you need to select my computer does not connect to internet because I don't have the drivers for my Ethernet or the Wi-Fi. So I'll select the last one and click on continue. Then again I'll do continue. I'll accept the agreement, and then I need to fill this form. Alright, so I've filled all the details and I'll click continue, and this will start creating the account. Okay, so I need to uncheck all these things, click continue, and now this is setting up your Mac. So this might take few more minutes. I'll pause the video and I'll come back again. Sometimes it happens like it gets stuck in between, so you need to manually restart the system. You have to hold the power button and press the restart button, and then it will reboot your system. Again, what you need to do is same process, press Dell and then get into the BIOS mode and select the pen drive to boot in. So the same thing you need to repeat every time. Select boot menu and then select the pen drive, and then in the Chimera Boot Loader, again you have to select Mac and type in the same command, -v -no -zp nv_disable equal to 1. The same command. I don't have to change the command. I'll pause the video for some more time and let it load. Okay, now you can see that I have booted into the Macintosh or Yosemite for the first time, and I need to put in the password what I gave during the setup. And now you can see the graphics is not coming clear. It's getting hanged. The mouse cursor is very slow. Everything is opening slowly. This is all because that Nvidia driver has not been installed on the system. So I'll let you know like how you will install the Nvidia driver and make your Hackintosh as smooth as Macintosh. Now the next thing what you need to do is you need to go into the pen drive or USB drive. It's still plugged in. Just double click the pen drive and copy the multi-beast folder from the pen drive to the desktop. Here you can see there are extra files, so don't worry about those files. I'll let you know what are those files. Just copy multi-beast and then paste it on the desktop of Yosemite. I'll close this. You can see that mouse is very slow. It's not functioning as smooth as it should. Okay, so also let me show you the system specification, what it's showing. You can see the processor, it has detected i7 4 GHz, and now in the graphics you can see it says only 3 MB of RAM, Nvidia chip model, so it is not able to automatically install the drivers, so I need to do the manual installation of Nvidia driver. Okay, so let me close this window and shut down the Macintosh. I'll go to Apple logo and then click on shutdown and then click on shutdown. And the next step is I have to go with the installation of Windows. So there is a trick, friends. You cannot install Windows normally. I'll let you know like what you need to do before installing Windows. Once system restarts, keep the USB drive of Macintosh in the desktop and press Dell, and again go to BIOS and click on boot and boot from the pen drive. This is the Mac pen drive, not the Windows. Now this will again show you the Chimera Boot Loader. This time you don't have to go to Mac, you have to go to USB. Yes, USB from where you have installed the Macintosh operating system. You have to go to USB, but don't worry guys, you don't have to reinstall the Mac. There is a utility, it's a command prompt you will only find in USB. So again I'll type those parameters like -b -no -zp nv_disable equal to 1, and then I'll hit enter, and this will again reboot into the same sequence how it was booted while I started the installation of Yosemite. This will again start up the setup window where we did the installation of our Macintosh. Just select your language and click next, and then you go to utilities and disk utility. Okay, so now what we have to do is we need to select the drive. In this case I have 1 TB Western Digital drive, so I'll click on the first thing and then I'll go to partition and I'll select Windows, and then I'll click on minus sign. So what this will do is this will delete the selected partition. Yes, I'm deleting this Windows partition because if you do not delete this partition, if you try to install Windows, it will say that Windows partition is on MBR partition and you cannot install Windows on an MBR partition. So I have removed that MBR issue. I have removed the Win partition, and then I have saved it. I'll close this window and I don't have to click continue. I have to just click on that Apple logo and click on shutdown. That's it. We are done with the first pen drive, that is Mac pen drive. I'll remove that pen drive and then I'll use the second pen drive which I have created for Windows. So if you remember, this is the Windows pen drive what I have created. I'll put the Windows pen drive in the USB slot and start the PC. And again I'll hit Del or F2 to get into the BIOS mode, and I'll select my USB drive as boot drive. I'll go to boot menu and then I'll select UEFI FAT32. This is the pen drive for my Windows. Now you can see that Windows is getting loaded for its initial setup, and this window will help you to select your language and other information. So I'll just click next. Everything is good on default. You can change accordingly. Then click on install now, and then this will ask for the key, the product key. I'll put in the product key and I'll resume the video again. Okay, now I need to accept the license terms. I'll check this box and click on next, and here you need to select custom installation. This is very important. Just click on custom advanced installation. Now you can see the last drive, that was my Windows partition which I deleted, and here you can see it says unallocated space. I need to select that and click on new and leave the size as it is and click on apply and then click on OK. Now what I need to do is I can click on the last again and click on format, click OK, and now we are ready to install Windows on this drive. Now we don't have that issue, that MBR partition issue. I'll just click on next and this will start installing my Windows files, and this will take again some 15-20 minutes to install your Windows 8.1. So I'll pause the video and resume again once installation is completed. Now system is getting restarted, installation is completed. Now it will begin with the basic configuration of the operating system, Windows operating system. You can remove the pen drive when it's getting restarted because the pen drive use is over now for Windows, and you can start typing in all the details like your PC name, and then you can set your Wi-Fi and other configuration for your Windows. So I'll just skip all these things and I'll show you after Windows is installed. Okay, now you can see here Windows is installed, and if I'll show you the manage and disk management, you can see how the disk is partitioned as of now. So you can see that the disk 0 is the entire drive, and this particular 185.75, this is the drive where Macintosh or Yosemite operating system is installed. Okay, so now I'm done with the Windows installation. I'll go ahead and shut down my computer. Next step is I'll be installing the Nvidia driver for Macintosh. So again, I need to use the pen drive to boot my Macintosh because I have not yet installed the Chimera Boot Loader. I'll let you know why I'm not installing the Chimera Boot Loader. So first let me boot into Macintosh. I'll again hit Dell or F2 to get into the BIOS mode, and then I'll select the pen drive as my boot drive. I'll go to boot, and then I'll select HP. This is the pen drive for Macintosh, and then this will again show me the Chimera Boot Loader. I'll go ahead and select Mac, the second one, and again I need to type in that particular command or arguments, and that is the same argument which I have used before. That's minus v minus no minus zp minus nv underscore disable equal to 1, and then I'll hit enter for Macintosh, and this will again start loading all these things as you have seen before, and then it will start into the Macintosh. Okay, so now you can see the graphics is still bad here. I'll log into the Macintosh Yosemite, and then what you need to do is you need to download the Nvidia web driver for GTX 970. This is the link for the driver I have provided on the screen as well as in the description. Use your another system where you have network connectivity and download this particular driver. If you see that web driver -346.01.02f01.pkg. Once you download, copy into the pen drive and put the pen drive in this particular system and paste it on your desktop. You also see there are a few more files on this pen drive. So I have downloaded Chimera 4.10.zip file as well as unpackage 4.5 version. So these two files will be required to set your bootloader. So download it from the link which I have provided on the screen and again paste it on the desktop. These are simple files. These are free files you can easily download from the net. Okay, and this file I'll delete it. This is of no use. I'll remove this thing. I'll let you know what was that file, how we generated that, and what was it used for. Now we'll install the Nvidia driver first and we'll go into the bootloader later. So just click on continue, click on continue again, and then click agree, and then install. Make sure that you are connected with HDMI cable and through your Nvidia graphics card, not from the onboard graphics card. Make sure that you are connected with Nvidia graphics card using HDMI cable. Okay, now the setup will be completed. It will take some time and the system will restart. And once system restart, again you have to go into the boot menu. The same process you need to follow. Select your pen drive and then you need to type in those commands. And now here is the change. Every time we were typing that command, now we have to type different command. It's -v no -zp nvda underscore drv equal to 1. This is why we are typing this command, because now we have installed Nvidia driver and we don't want to disable the Nvidia card. We want to enable the driver. That's why we're using nvda underscore drv equal to 1. And then select Mac, the second option, and hit enter. Now you can see that Nvidia graphics card is getting enabled. Yeah, screen resolution has improved a lot. I think it's 1080p. You can see the sharpness. On camera I'm not able to capture the sharpness, but the screen is looking very beautiful and mouse is very smooth. I can feel that Nvidia graphics card is working perfectly fine here. Okay, now here you can see the screen resolution has changed. Everything is looking perfectly fine. I'll just go ahead and enable the animation on the dock. I'll go to dock and check the magnification and let's see how is the, yeah, you can see it's very smooth. There's no lag, no problem in animation. Nvidia graphics card is working properly fine. I'll just check the information about this Mac. Okay, so now your Hackintosh is installed with Nvidia GTX 970 graphics card. You can see 4095 MB of GDDR5 is enabled on this Hackintosh. Now the time has come to install the Chimera Boot Loader. So I've already copied the multi-beast folder on my desktop. You can see here. Okay, I'll just open the multi-beast and you can see this particular window. Just go to quick start on the left and then select easy beast. I prefer easy beast, and then you can click on build. Make sure that the bootloader is selected, Chimera bootloader, and then click on install and click agree. Type in your password for Macintosh and then click install. This will take some time, and after this is installed, system will be restarted. Okay, so I think manually we need to restart the system. It's not automatic. I'll go ahead and eject the USB drive, and now there is no pen drive. I'll remove the pen drive from my desktop, and then let's see if bootloader is working or not. Alright, now system is getting restarted and I don't have any pen drive plugged in, but I need to make one change here. I'll go into BIOS, and in BIOS I have to remove the default Windows bootloader to the hard drive bootloader. So I'll go to boot menu, and here you can see that by default the Windows boot manager is on top, but I need to select the last one. I'll go ahead and select this particular thing and see if Chimera bootloader is getting loaded or not. I selected the default hard drive, but you can see I'm getting this error, boot 0 error. Most of us are going to get this kind of error because there are some issues with the Chimera bootloader 4.1. I'm not sure if it is working with you. If it is working with your system, that's well and good. You don't have to go ahead and do this step. You're all set and you can close this video. But if you're getting this error, what you need to do is plug in the pen drive again, the Mac pen drive, and boot it from the Mac pen drive. Select the Mac pen drive here. Now select the Mac, the second one, and then we need to type in the argument. Now this time we don't have to use that -v or any other thing because we have already installed our Nvidia driver, so we will just use NVDA_DRV1 and this should work properly. So let me type in NVDA_DRV equal to 1 and hit enter. I've selected Mac. Okay, now this will load the system, and now we are into the Macintosh Yosemite. Here you can see graphics card is working fine, and now what we have to do is, as in my video I've shown, like we need to download two things, Chimera 4.1.0.zip file as well as unpackage. On right hand side of my screen you can see that these two files I copied from my pen drive 2 minutes before. Now I have to just double click on these two files and this will be extracted in a folder, and if I click on Chimera, this will extract the Chimera bootloader. You can see it's here. Okay, so let me drag it in the front of the monitor. Okay, now we need to extract files out of Chimera 4.1.0. So how do we do that? We need to use unpackage 4.5 software. Just double click on this. If you double click on unpackage, it will not open. It will give the security warning. So how do you open this? Just right click on this and click on open, and this will give option to open this. Once you click on open, this will open in background. So just minimize this particular window, and here you can see this is the unpackage. Just expand the details here, and now you need to drag the Chimera 4.1.0 here. So once you drag it, it will extract all the files inside Chimera, and you see on the screen on the desktop right inside the Chimera 4.1.0 folder has been created. Now I need one file from this folder. Just open this, go to the first folder, Chimera V41, go to user, go to standalone, then i386, and then you will have this file boot1h. So this is the important file which we need to copy, and then we need to paste it into the pen drive. This is the same pen drive where we have Yosemite. So right click and paste the boot1h. Okay, now in this pen drive we have boot1h file. I'll just close this pen drive and then go ahead and restart the system. Okay, now I'll make sure that I have that particular pen drive, that Yosemite pen drive, in my USB. Again, I'll go to boot menu and I'll select that pen drive, and this will load Chimera Boot Loader again. Now this time we don't have to go to Mac, we have to go to USB. This time we'll be using the command terminal, where we need to type in few commands and copy that boot1h file into the Chimera Boot Loader. I'll select USB and I'll type in the argument, that's old argument, -v space minus no minus zp space nv underscore disable equal to 1. I'm using this argument because I'm going into USB drive. I'm not loading into Macintosh, so I cannot use that Nvidia driver drv underscore 1 command, so I have to use this command. Make sure you need to use this command and select USB and then hit enter. I'm sorry guys, you need to repeatedly do all these things, but I can't help. This is a bit complicated process, and if you go by this, you will have fully functional Hackintosh as well as Windows both working and bootloader also working. Okay, now we are in the same installation mode. I'll just click next and select the language and click next, and I have to go to utilities. Then we need to go into disk utility. We'll go to terminal later, but first we need to go to disk utility. Okay, now here what I need to do is, like, I have to unmount the drive where Macintosh is installed. So I will select Mac, as we know that I have installed Macintosh Yosemite on Mac drive, and then I'll wait for a few seconds and then I'll click on unmount. Okay, I'll click on this, and then you can see on the left hand side my Mac drive is grayed out, so this means it's already unmounted. I'll just close this particular window, and then I'll go into utilities again, and then I'll select terminal. Okay, inside terminal you can see this is the command prompt type of thing. Here we need to type in the command. So command is disk util space list. I'll hit enter. This will display all the drives, partitions, everything, and identifier. Identifier are the names of the drives which is identified by the terminal. So now I need to make sure that I have to write down this particular identifier. This is the 199 GB 200 GB drive where my Macintosh is installed. So the identifier is disk 0s2. So I'll make a note of this because I need to use this particular identifier in my command. Okay, so once I made a note of this, I'll go down and I'll type in the next command. The next command is cd space slash // volumes slash the name of the USB drive. If you have kept name of USB drive something else, then inside the quotes you have to type in that name. My USB name is USB, so I'm using USB here. If your USB name is something different, type in that particular name. Then we have to type next command, that's dd space f equal to boot 1h, this is the file which we are copying, space of equal to slash dev slash, we have to type the identifier name. So what was the identifier name? I have written down, but just to make sure, this is disk 0s2. Okay, so this is the identifier. I need to type in the same name here. I'll go down and disk s2. Type disk 0s2. Okay, I'll hit enter. Once I hit enter, you can see 1024 bytes transferred. So this means you have successfully copied the boot 1h file. And now we are all set to use the Chimera Boot Loader without using the pen drive. Okay, let me type in exit. Okay, I'll close this terminal. I'll just hit the red cross and then I'll quit the terminal. Okay, click on terminal, then quit terminal, and then I don't have to do anything here. I'll just, or here I can go to OS X installer and quit. I'll click on restart. Now this will restart the system, and I have removed all the pen drives, so there are no pen drive in my USB drive. And then here what I need to do, I'll just hit Dell again. I'll go into BIOS, I'll go to boot menu, and here I need to select hard drive as my boot priority. By default, Windows Boot Manager is the first boot sequence. So I need to select the second one, that's the last one, that's the hard drive. I'll select that. I can permanently change to that hard drive. I'll do it later. Now you can see the Chimera bootloader is getting loaded from hard drive directly. We don't have to use any pen drive, any third-party thing. Now it's directly loading from my hard drive. Now I can select Mac or Windows, any of the thing, and it should work. So let me select Mac and type in the argument for the Nvidia, that's Nvidia _drv equal to 1. You must be thinking like, why do I need to type this argument again and again? So I will be telling you how you can remove this burden. I'll log into the Macintosh and then I'll tell you where you can hard code this argument so that every time you don't have to put in these commands. So I'll type in my password to log in into Yosemite, and then I'll tell you where you need to update that argument. Okay, so first of all, let me remove these files. Now I don't need the Chimera bootloader or the zip files or any other things. Everything is done. I'll just select this one and I'll move it to trash. Okay, now you need to go to Spotlight search. Just click on this search icon and type in /extra. Hit enter. This will open the Chimera bootloader extra folder. Here you can see chameleon.boot.plist. This is the file where we need to update the arguments. Whatever argument we want to update, like every time we don't want to enter them, we need to update this. Just double click on this and it will open in a notepad. Here you can see these are the strings which is being passed every time the system is getting started. So we need to update the string in kernel flags. So you can see there is a kernel flag key mentioned on the 4th or 5th line. Here is the kernel flag keys. I'll hit enter and then I'll type in string inside the brackets. So I'll type in string and then I'll type the argument NVDA underscore DRV equal to 1, and then again I have to close that string. So I'll put like this, then type in string. Okay, so I need to just make that small s. Okay, and then I'll push the entire string right, and then I just have to save this file. To save this file, I'll just go to file and click on save. This will save my plist, the chameleon boot.plist file, and then I'm done with updating the arguments into the plist, and I'll close this particular window and I'll restart my system, and I think we are done with everything. We are just left for the drivers, for the Wi-Fi drivers, sound drivers. Those you can install later, or I'll be coming up with another video to install those things. So now we are restarting the system and we are not using any pen drive. Okay, now for the last time I need to go into BIOS and I need to change the boot sequence, because by default the first boot sequence is for the Windows bootloader. I need to change it to the hard drive bootloader. That's Chameleon or Chimera Boot Loader. So here you can see the boot option 1. By default it's Windows Boot Manager. I need to select the hard drive name. Whatever your hard drive name, just select that. Make it the boot option 1, and then you need to save this particular BIOS settings and click OK. Now we are done with everything. We don't have to click Dell. We don't have to go into BIOS. Just leave the system like this. It will automatically load the Chimera Boot Loader. Now you can see I'm not pressing any button. Here you can see Chimera Boot Loader is active, and we have two options, Mac and Windows. And here in Mac I don't have to put any argument. I just have to hit enter, and then it will load Macintosh or Yosemite without any arguments, and everything is working perfectly here. I'll just put my password, hit enter, and now I'm into Yosemite and Nvidia driver is working, mouse is smooth. We can also check the system configuration here. You can see it's Core i7 processor and graphics card is GTX 970. Everything is working fine. I just have to install a few more drivers and I'm all set. So guys, this was my detailed video for installing Mac and Windows on single drive. I hope you liked my video, and if you like, do subscribe my channel and give a thumbs up to my video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.